dry-aged duck. The skin is insanely crispy, and it's quite possibly the best thing to dry age. But can we make it better?
No more Mr. Nice Duck.
Today, we'll be completely covering a duck in chili crisp for a head-to-head battle. Regular duck versus dry-aged duck versus chili crisp dry-aged duck to see who comes out on top. Let's get started. First things first, we need some ducks. And these are not just any old duck. These are Peking ducks locally sourced in Pennsylvania, and in my opinion, they're the best of the best. They're complete with the feet, wings, and also the head still attached. And as you can see, the fat on these ducks is just perfect. There's a really nice layer over this breast meat, and it tastes incredible. And it's kind of crazy to see all the anatomy going on with this thing. We got that webbed feet, which I'm sure is great for swimming. And check out the wingspan on this duck, not bad. Now in the past, when I've dry aged duck, all we've dry aged is the actual chest cavity, but this time we're gonna do it a little bit different and include that bottom section as well. But either way, the first step is to remove the head.
Max, you call that a knife?
You like my knife?
This is a knife.
All right, we'll just remove the head like so. There we go. What we've done is expose this neck right here, which allows us to kind of hang the duck from the dry ager like so. Now we're also gonna remove the feet, finding that joint right here, and remove. There's one, there's the other. Just letting that knife do the work. This is kind of crazy, but over here you can literally see the windpipe, which is what I assume allows a duck to quack. Duck number one is about to go on a very fun dry aging journey, but the first step is to season it and cover it in our chili crisp. Now I fortunately have a duck-shaped bowl, and we're gonna be incorporating actually two types of seasonings. The first one here is a special blend of Sichuan spices, so a little bit of those mala numbing peppercorns and just a variety of really delicious ingredients. And next is this stuff here, which is quite possibly the greatest condiment of all time, chili crisp. Chili crisp is a flavored chili oil, but it has the most insane flavor and texture ever. It's basically a bunch of fried herbs and chilies. It's salty, packed with umami, and honestly goes great with everything. We'll start by seasoning our duck with the Sichuan spice rub. Just make sure to get all sides as well as the cavity. And just rubbing it in to get those flavors incorporated. And now for the fun part, we are going to completely cover our duck in chili crisp. It's just an absurd amount of chili crisp, just rubbing it all in there. I'm telling you guys, the smell at this point is already incredible. This stuff is so good. Getting it all in that cavity and just making sure we get both sides completely covered. There is a huge part of me that just wants to roast this thing as is. It looks incredible, but we're on a mission. Time to let it marinate for 2 days. All right, and our duck looks and smells amazing. But you might be wondering, why are we covering that duck in this exact flavor combination? I recently launched my very own jerky company, maxjerky, and it's based off of this flavor right here, chili crisp. To develop this flavor, I use this exact spice combination and a whole bunch of chili crisp. But I'm gonna be honest, chili crisp is not an easy ingredient to work with. There's tons of oil, and I literally went to the factory and manually strained out all the oil from like a ridiculous amount of chili crisp. But I think we nailed the flavor, and I really believe it was worth it. This flavor was inspired by my time spent in China, and it's one of 4 flavors also influenced by really important locations in my life. This is one of our chicken jerky flavors, really nice and tender, but the focus for me was for sure on flavor, and I really hope you guys like it. Check out maxjerky.com to pick some up for yourself. It would mean the absolute world to me, but I think our duck has just finished marinating. Let's get back to it. All right, and it has been 48 hours. Our duck was covered in the fridge, marinating and absorbing all of those insane flavors. It's time to dry age it. And to go with our chili crisp duck, we have a regular duck as well that will be dry aging. And I found the best method when it comes to dry aging duck is to actually hang it. I sort of mentioned it before, but hang it by the neck like so for great airflow. All we gotta do is come around here. It's probably a knot for this, but I just kind of tie it off a bunch and usually does the job. And we'll just do the same for the marinated duck. And just like that, both of our ducks are fully supported. Let's get them in the dry ager. And it has been 14 days, and this is what we got. Our chili crisp the regular dry age, and a normal fresh duck for comparison. The first standout difference is for sure that skin. On the fresh one, the skin is very soft and kind of malleable. Compare that to the dry age one where it's a lot more firm. And in general, the dry age one is just a lot more stiff overall, and you can definitely tell that it's lost weight. Moving on to the chili crisp duck, it once again has a bit of a more firm exterior, but interestingly, it almost looks a bit more full than the regular dry aged one. Keep in mind, there was some salt in this, so it's almost been brined and then dry aged, which very well may have contributed to it retaining more moisture. But even though it's been 14 days, these ducks have virtually no smell whatsoever, which is exactly what we're hoping for. And it is finally time to cook our ducks. Now, the first thing that came to mind was to spatchcock it, so kind of open it up, crack the back like a chiropractor, but we're not gonna do that. Instead, what we're gonna do is cook the breast and the thigh meat separately, and I'll show you how we do that. Speaking of chiropractors, Sophia, I have a joke. Why did the duck go to the chiropractor?
Why?
To get his back quacked. I made her quack up. We'll start here with the dry aged duck. My plan is to roast the breast section and smoke the dark meat. I've actually never smoked dry aged duck, so it should be very interesting. The first thing I'll do is remove these wing tips, just to make it a little easier. And now I'll remove the thighs. Very similar anatomy to like a chicken, so I'm just following this crease here all the way around, kind of coming under like so. Just following this down, trying to leave as much of that nice meat as we can. There we go. And we're left with a beautiful duck quarter. And as you can see, that gorgeous deep red meat. And check out that fat there. Even though we haven't even cooked it yet, you can start to see the benefits of dry aging. It's almost like this rendered down consistency, and it's gonna crisp up beautifully. With our thighs removed, we're left with two beautiful pieces here and our perfectly dry aged duck crown. And this duck skin really reminds me of dry aged beef fat. You can see how it's already starting to like render down at room temp. And that to me is the beauty of dry aged duck. There's so many similarities. It's almost closer to beef than to like chicken or something. Now we'll do the exact same thing to our chili crisp dry aged duck. Something I'll keep in mind for next time, there's a lot of this fat kind of towards the end and it's just kind of gross. I think I'll trim it up a bit better prior to dry aging, but besides that, so far so good. Just coming through the side, just opening it up, kind of cracking there, and it should come right off. And once again, we have our two thighs. They look and smell incredible, and that dry aged chili crisp duck crown. And it is finally time to cook. We have our fresh, dry aged, and the chili crisp dry aged duck all prepped the exact same way. Now we just need to do some seasoning. The chili crisp one I'm gonna leave completely as is, but for the fresh and dry aged, I'm gonna treat the exact same way. Starting with a thin olive oil, ooh, that's not thin. Starting with some olive oil as a binder. And we'll just lightly rub that in and keeping it simple with just some salt. Some black pepper, and just a tiny bit of garlic powder. The thighs are going on the smoker, upside down. We got the thighs going on the smoker, just throwing them right on a rack, and in they go at 350 Fahrenheit. And time to add our ducks to the oven. Starting with the dry aged, our chili crisp, and the fresh. And into an oven at 425 Fahrenheit. We wanna cook these on the hotter side so that we get that super crispy skin, and it should take right around 20 minutes to hit our desired temperature. When our duck thighs hit 180 Fahrenheit, they were ready to come off. And here they are. Gotta say, I have never been more excited to eat some duck. Let's check these out. And here we have the regular fresh duck. They look pretty good. Let's check out that skin. Not too bad, a little bit soft, but I'd definitely eat that. Next up, the regular dry aged duck. Overall, I'd say slightly better color, but just check out this skin. This is significantly crispier. That looks amazing. And last but not least, the chili crisp dry aged duck. I gotta say, that is a pretty perfect looking piece right there. Incredible color on it, and once again, that super, super crispy skin. But before we get to dig in, let's check on the rest of that in the oven. Our ducks have reached right around 125 Fahrenheit, and we have our fresh duck, our dry aged duck, and of course, our chili crisp dry aged duck. Right off the bat, you can very clearly see the difference in color, a lot lighter on the fresh and a way better crust on the dry age ones. As you can see, the fresh one definitely doesn't look bad, but it does have sort of a soft texture, whereas the dry age one definitely crisped up quite a bit more. We'll be able to see the differences better once we slice into it. Then our chili crisp dry aged duck. Honestly, this one's still kind of a wild card for me. I have no idea how it's gonna taste, but it looks incredible. We'll start by breaking into the fresh duck. Exact same process as a chicken. We'll just kind of follow the backbone and just peel away the breast. In a perfect world, I would have removed the wishbone before doing this. It definitely makes it a bit easier, but just do your best to follow and leave as much meat on there as you can. And now we'll just take some slices. And let's see what we got. As you can see, extremely juicy. This to me is pretty much the perfect internal temp, a little bit closer to medium rather than medium rare, which I believe is perfect for duck. You can see we have that fat cap over the top. I will say it could probably be a bit more rendered. Let's see if we did any better with the dry aged one. Once again, a slice right down the middle and carefully peel away that breast meat. This one just looks so insanely juicy, wow. And we'll take some slices. Once again, really nice rosy pink on the inside, but check out that skin. There's almost like this separation between the fat and that outer layer. It's all bubbly and just so much more rendered. This right here is the beauty of dry aged duck. Last but not least, our chili crisp dry aged duck. I am so excited to finally slice into this thing. It's been through quite the roller coaster. 48 hours of marinating, 14 days of dry aging, and here we are. Just like before with that slice. Just peeling away that meat. Time to slice it up. Just smells ridiculously good. And let's check it out. Once again, really nice rosy pink, maybe a little bit more done than the other ones, but not bad. And the skin on this thing just looks packed with flavor. I will say there is still a pretty significant amount of white fat on there, but only tasting it will tell us if it's actually rendered or not. 3 absolutely beautiful plates of duck. The only thing left to do is give them a taste and figure out which one's best. This is probably the most appropriate time to finally crack into my 2020 duck wine. Not sure the vineyard, but we're having duck. Starting over here with the fresh duck. That is a good reminder that I need to be cooking more duck, but absolutely delicious. I will say the skin isn't super crispy. Let's try the smoked duck leg. I've never smoked duck like this, but that is way better actually. What are you doing? Pause. Just eat the duck, Tivy. The skin on the breast meat was a little bit fatty, but that smoked duck was perfect. Let's move on to the dry aged duck. What a show right now. I mean, talk about a night and day difference. I'm telling you, dry aged duck is the future. It is significantly better than any other duck I've ever had in my entire life. Still very juicy. Skin is just so much crispier. I don't know what else to say. Let's move on to the chili crisp dry aged duck, the one I am by far the most excited about. That chili crisp flavor is so intense, like it clearly went through the entire thing. You still get that crispiness from the dry age. The fat on that skin is fully rendered, it just melts in your mouth. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it, but this thing is just packed with flavor, and it really has the best of both worlds. Like you get that crispiness from the dry age, but you also get that chili crisp situation going on, which works incredibly well. Well, that just about does it for this video. If you've never tried dry aged duck, I highly suggest you do it. If you want to try something very similar to the Sichuan crisp situation we got going on here, be sure to check out maxjerky.com. We have our Sichuan chili crisp jerky flavor. It's a very similar flavor profile. And yeah, it would mean the world to me if you guys gave it a shot. But until next time, have a good one. Wait, what do I usually say? Either way, I'll see you next time.